Okay, for today's deep dive, we are tackling a piece of hardware that honestly sounds more like a Wi-Fi password.
It does.
The NTI E-2W-PLNM-500. It's a real mouthful.
It is. But if you're involved in managing a smart building or, any kind of environmental monitoring, that string of characters is actually really important.
It's a 500-foot spool of, what is it, specialized two-wire plenum sensor cable.
And that's the thing. It's really the nervous system for a facility.
Yeah.
We get excited about the flashy sensors, the software.
Look at dashboards.
Right. But without the right connective tissue, and that's literally what this is, none of that data goes anywhere.
So let's get into that. The PLNM in the name, that's for plenum. I hear that term a lot, but for anyone out there who might not know, what exactly is a plenum space?
Sure. So it's all about the construction of the building and where you can safely install things. The plenum is that space, usually above a drop ceiling or sometimes under a raised floor.
The space used for air circulation?
Exactly. It's for the HVAC system.
Yeah.
Which means if a fire ever started.
Oh, it becomes a wind tunnel, spreading smoke everywhere.
Precisely. And that's why the jacket on this cable matters so much. The source specs point to a gray, plenum-grade PVC jacket.
And the insulation inside is the same stuff.
Yep, plenum-grade PVC insulation on the wires inside, too. It's all engineered to resist burning and, maybe more importantly, to limit how much smoke it gives off.
Which is what makes it totally different from, say, an outdoor cable. I see here they list an E-2W-O series. The O must be for outdoor.
Exactly. A completely different product for a completely different set of environmental challenges.
Digging into the specs a bit more, it says it's 22 AWG stranded bare copper.
Yep.
Is that pretty standard for this kind of application?
It is, yeah. 22 gauge is kind of the sweet spot for these low-voltage jobs.
Okay.
It's thick enough to carry a signal reliably over a good distance, but it's still flexible enough to, snake through a tight ceiling grid.
And stranded means it's less likely to break when you bend it.
Much less likely than a solid core wire. You can pull it around a sharp corner without worrying about the connection failing.
So you mentioned signals. What is this actually connecting? The source sheet says it's for NTI's E2D, 5D, and 16D units.
Right, so it connects what are called dry contact sensors.
Okay, and what are those?
Think of simple on or off states. Is a server room door open or closed? Is there water on the floor, yes or no?
Simple binary information.
That's it. This cable runs from those little sensors back to the NTI units, which act as the central brain of the system.
And those sensors could be just about anywhere. I'm thinking a walk-in freezer or a really hot mechanical room.
Which is why the operating range is so huge. It's rated from -10 Celsius all the way up to 75 C.
What's that in Fahrenheit? About 14 to 167 degrees.
Yeah, it's a massive range.
That 167 figure, it's pretty wild. I mean, if your plenum space is that hot, the cable is probably the least of your worries.
Well, you want to know the data link won't be the first thing to fail. It's about data integrity. You don't want your heat sensor failing because its own wire couldn't take the heat.
Good point. Plus, I see it has RoHS approval.
Yep, so it meets all the modern regulatory standards for hazardous substances.
All right, let's talk about the economics here. If you're an installer planning a job, this specific 500-foot roll is priced at $150.
Which is pretty reasonable for specialized safety-rated material.
But you're not always going to need exactly 500 feet.
No, and that's a really key point in the source material. It's scalable. You aren't locked in. They sell lengths as short as just 3 feet for a quick patch job.
And on the high end.
All the way up to a 1,000-foot roll for $300.
So it's perfectly linear. Double the lengths, double the price.
It is. Makes budgeting really straightforward.
Yeah.
And it comes with a 2-year warranty from NTI, so there's some assurance there.
It's funny, when you see the picture, it's just a spool of plain gray wire. It looks so boring. But it's doing so much critical work behind the scenes for building safety.
That really is the paradox of all infrastructure, isn't it?
Yeah.
We completely ignore it until it fails. But chances are right now, above your head, there are miles of cable, just like this E-2W-PLNM-500.
Wow.
Just sitting there silently in the dark, connecting all the systems that keep our environments monitored and safe.
A silent nervous system in the ceiling. It's a great way to think about it. Next time you're in an office, you should look up at the ceiling tiles and just wonder what's running up there.
You'll never see it the same way again.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
My pleasure. See you on the next one.